Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. We have been looking at movie characters and monsters in this current series we're in right now, and I'd like to take some time to acknowledge another major influence, especially in my early drawing career, and that is the Alien franchise. Alien came out shortly after I was born, so I didn't see that until much later on. But I was just at that right age in 1986 when Aliens came out, where I was enthralled by the idea of taking this horror sci-fi movie and turning it into more of an action sci-fi movie. And James Cameron did such an amazing job in that film and really expanded the lore of the Alien universe to the point where I drew many pictures of aliens. And right in the middle of that big alien boom of the 80s and 90s, in 1998, I drew this picture of an alien, and I was so very proud of it. This was probably the best thing I had done at that point, and I still look back fondly at this picture. I am tremendously happy with how it turned out. And I thought that I would not only draw an alien today, but I would actually try and recreate that image with my newer skills, with all the development and all of the tricks that I've learned since then, and we'll see what the change is between these two pictures. So I've already decided I want the light source coming from the top right, and I'm going to use that to help inform some of my decisions today. And as usual, I'm going to try to keep this video to about 10 minutes, and that way it doesn't get too tedious, but you get to still see some of the decision making I do as I talk my way through this picture. But yeah, 1998. So that would have been right after Alien Resurrection came out in 97, which I enjoyed. I still like that movie. A lot of people don't. Certainly it doesn't compare to Aliens or Alien, but I think it still holds up relatively well. I like what they did with it. I loved the fact that they had those mercenaries who had stolen those humans in the pods and had sold them. I didn't like what they were doing, but I love the idea of that. It was very, I don't know, reminiscent of kind of like a Firefly sort of group, and they took some time to develop the characters, which I appreciated, and it was a really neat story, I thought. But a lot of people don't like it, and that's fine. If you don't, that's your opinion. But as a young man growing up and loving aliens, I definitely appreciated the direction they decided to go in, which was different from the other films for sure. But I just something about the creation of that creature and the evolution it took. Every movie took a different kind of take on that alien creature, and I think Alien Resurrection did some neat things. I wasn't a fan of Ripley, spoiler alert, discovering, or Clone Ripley, I guess, number 8, discovering her other iterations. That was a part which I'm not going to lie to you. When I made myself a copy of that film on VHS, I edited out that part. I wasn't a fan. But now that I'm a little older and I've seen other stuff, I love my copy of that movie, my actual copy I've got on DVD, and it's beautiful. It's just fantastic. And again, the character's really well done. I really enjoyed what they did with that. But the ultimate star of the film, and actually it's a quote from H.R. Geiger as well, the alien is the star of the film. And it's so true. They are so interesting looking and so unique and iconic even today. And like looking back on the first movie, that alien monster was just, no one had seen anything like it before. And if you get a chance to check out any of the concept art they did for that film, until they got H.R. Geiger on board, I don't think it would have been the same movie without him and his creation. Like it was fairly generic looking, the beastie that they had decided to go with beforehand, and Daniel Bannon's designs and ideas for the creature really revolutionized what we were seeing. I think, obviously Star Wars, was the first impetus for change there in Hollywood. but I think Alien really did a nice job of ramping things up. In fact, I don't think we'd have things like Event Horizon or gosh, any of those other, 90s wonderful action horror sci-fi movies without the Alien franchise, because what an impact it had on us. So already you can kind of see how the shading is making a difference. And one thing I hadn't learned when I was doing the drawing here on the left yet was just how effective, how powerful dark tones could be in a picture. And if you're watching any of the Alien movies, and specifically I just recently watched Alien vs. Predator, again, I've watched that many times, they really do a great job of keeping the creature in shadow. So we see it, but we don't see all of it. We see lots of shadows and lots of darkness in the imagery. Not to the extent that Alien vs. Predator Requiem does, obviously, but by hiding the alien in shadow, you just get these beautiful dark areas, and wow, it just adds to the horror and the fear factor of it all. And I'm going out of my way to make it biomechanical, just like Giger intended. And all of those lines and all of those kind of industrial looking parts will just make the alien look fantastic when it's finished. So I skipped ahead in time a little bit. You can see some of the work that I've done there. A lot of it was very tedious, so I didn't want to just show all of that, mostly filling things in. But you'll notice I'm using a different pencil at this point, and this is a 6B pencil. Show that there. And this is where, up until now in this channel, it's been very budget friendly. You might think of picking up a pencil set. And if you do, you will find that you're not going to use all of the pencils equally. So for example, I tend to use the 6B for dark areas and a 2H for lighter areas. And that just allows you to play around with the different tones without worrying about the same kind of pressures involved of an HB pencil. I have to press awfully hard with an HB pencil to get dark shadows, whereas with the 6B pencil, that's not nearly as much work. Same with an H. H stands for hardness. B, I think, stands for boldness. The H allows you to create light tones without pressing lightly with a pencil. And then, if you find an art store that sells individual ones, once you've got your set, you just replace the ones that you tend to use most often. Just another kind of budget bit of advice there. When it comes to change from light to dark, you also might need a blending stomp. We've talked about that in the channel before. The blending stomp is simply a stick of paper, or I guess paper that's been rolled into a stick, and it's great for just shading in areas as well as creating a gradation, a slight change from light to dark. So you can do that easily with this here. It's almost like using your finger, but you've got more control. And the fact that it's got a point to it means you've got just a little bit more versatility when it comes to getting into smaller or hard to reach areas. So it's a great tool for the artist. So coming along really nicely. At this point, I think I'm just going to stop the video since we are nearing that 10-minute mark. And I'm going to leave you with a look at how the end result turned out. I hope you found this video helpful and interesting, and perhaps even to the point where you're willing to give it a like, share it with friends who think you would enjoy it as well. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.